Hi, I'd like to talk about various dance forms which I think have been greatly betrayed. I'm taking, for instance, the example of tango and the way it's been robbed of its beauty and its passionate depths. This expression of sadness and sorrow these people had at the time when people were disappearing from sight, disappearing from their lives without any news, when people were losing their loved ones without knowing what they were doing, whether they were being tortured or killed. Now you have, of course, the short skirts and the leg over the shoulder movements and the typical tango for dos sexualized marketing ploy. And I think it's a great shame. You know, tango dresses don't have to always be red. They don't always have to have a slashed thigh, even though you have a lot of leg movement. You don't have to have a short mini skirt to have this dexterity in dance. You don't need to have overtly sexualized movement with the legs. There's a lot of history, as I said before, in tango. If you listen to the Astor Piazzolla compositions, there is really nothing sexualized, a lot of passion, a lot of love, a lot of expressions of loss, and pregnant weights, and dilemmas, and torture, psychological torture. There's a lot of beautiful expressions of dedication and adoration. There is all of that, and it's very passionate. And it doesn't make sense because those items of culture are stronger than this. If you look at the way flamenco is built, and if you look at the history of gypsies, and if you look at the way the drums express a lot of resilience, a lot of negations, and a lot of forbidden places, a lot of stomping, a lot of heartbeats. Those drums are really marching for freedom. And this is flamenco. They haven't quite touched flamenco in that sexual, trivial way at the moment. So you still have a lot of flowing long skirts and a lot of veil, a lot of frills and a lot of femininity and hip work without being too sexy. I do think that it's a shame to ruin everything. You have a great game of cards and a great castle, and you just build it, diminish it into something petite and restricted, which is, you know, this is what they make of human nature, just the sexual outfit. And human nature is so much bigger than that, obviously. And you have all the thinking and the struggles, people going to the field and people not having the justice and people wanting to escape a sad reality. You have a lot of that in flamenco. If you listen to the raw flamenco and you have the duende there for a reason, duende doesn't express sexual satisfaction. It expresses a lot of struggle. And a lot of those world dances express a lot of these historical moments in the country's life, in the cultural outfits. What's the point of having gorgeous dance form and a gorgeous artistic expression if you're going to turn it into a flat land? Is what's happening. They're just taking out all the mountains and all the hills and all the valleys and all the lakes, and they're just turning it into concrete. Is what is really happening to the floral landscape that you have from the historical shaping, all the sweat, blood and tears that went into, for instance, shaping a great Samba parade. And Samba has always used a lot of sexualist images of women for a lot of economical and a lot of political reasons, but there is also in Samba a lot of my God, I mean, it's the power of resilience, or the power of wanting to go on. And if you look at the analysis videos I did and stuff like that, I am fascinated with Samba and its amazing density and its amazing complexity. Unfortunately, a lot of people want to liquefy this and turn it into some kind of, I don't know, smoothie. You don't take the peel of the dance, you don't take all the fiber and liquefy it and make a juice out of it just full of vitamins and the liquids. You need to chew this and to understand the substance and the texture. They turn it into some kind of diet and make it quite aggressive and sexualized, and always with a red dress. And because there's a bit of hip work, I've noticed a lot of European people assume hip work means, oh God, it's sexy. Well, not really, because I mean this is like the African roots of most of those dances. We could go on about the history of how this happened and things like that, but all those works have got those hip works like Samba, even Bellydance, and we could go on about why this is, but you have a lot of freedom of expression in those hips. And the hips are there because they're part of the body as well, so they're not always expressing sex, I'm afraid, just because they're moving. And unfortunately, a lot of people who are not familiar with these exotic rhythms or styles, you know, manifest themselves by just deciding that it has to be sexy and overtly sort of like sexualized and seduction. There is a bit of that, but it's not only this. And so it's a shame to have this kind of interpretation, I think. You talk belly dance, of course it concentrates somehow around the pelvic area, but it's not meaning to sort of express sexuality. It was born as a prenatal thing, according to what we know so far. So yes, it has to be with reproduction and birth, but if you look at a good belly dancer, for instance, on YouTube, you'll understand what I mean. It's not about seduction. Like if you look at the ballet, there's a lot of body showing, there's a lot of leg, and if you look at a good belly dance artist, there isn't that sort of obsession with you know, wanting to copulate. It's not what it's about. You're telling a story if you're really dancing well. There's a lot of extensions, a lot of expressions, life story, and in Samba you have that as well. You can express a lot with just about almost any dance form. Unfortunately, a lot of people decide to commercialize everything, and you have the Shakiras and the Beyonce, and it's very good technicians, but the cash cow industries sort of focuses the whole form on, you know, male attention, and you know, so it's a lot of jerking and a lot of so just extremely suggestive and or graphic movements, which is a pity because a lot of people misunderstand what belly dance is about because of those items. So, you know, over the years I've been very privileged to actually encounter those forms, and I am very touched by a lot of those string instruments or pianos or, and you know, all these accordions and percussions, violins that go in Arabic and Spanish in the modern begin style. And there's a lot of tenderness, a lot of longing, a lot of multi-layers. A lot of people unfortunately don't have time for the layering aspect of music. And of course those are the same people who would much rather text each other, and emailing and texting is all fine, but there has to be a time where you do take time to appreciate what good music and good dance is. Like, you know, you don't have to be a specialist in a dance form or another, but you should really take time to appreciate what a gift you have in the one outfit of reading a good book, a good food, and good music, good dance, a good dance show, good singing, instead of being content with somebody who sings some kind of dance anthem, and it composes about 2 notes of it, and most of the time use sex to promote it. The same applies to all those beautiful dance forms. I cannot speak enough for all those tangos and flamencos and Arabic styles, and how much they really are quite powerful, and how much is wasted in all that because of a lot of, like I said, it's sort of concrete, turning this beautiful country into concrete. You can't turn everything into concrete because, well, you know, you wouldn't have any environment, and the same applies for dance and music. Now, my website is midnightnotebook.com. It's midnightnotebook.com, and I've got a blog there, and videos and insights and stuff, if you care to have a look.